Bonjour. Hi, this is Neshi Locatz. Good morning. Good Thursday morning, May 24th. It's almost Friday. It's been a very busy week. And I have to say, though, that today is one of those beautiful days again. We have blue skies. It's 70 degrees out right now. We're supposed to hit 80 something, 86 today. I'm looking forward to it. I love it. It's a bit humid, but you know what? We don't get these kind of days very often here in Wisconsin. And so I'm enjoying it. And I had made a post to say good morning to everybody and to remind them about this live stream. And it was, when I said it was a beautiful day in the neighborhood, I really meant it. It really is a beautiful day. So welcome, everybody. You are watching the card draw for the morning that I've been doing for a few weeks now on our main fan page for Star Nations organization. And this fan page is all about the services that we provide to our community. And so that is the magazine, the radio network, which is live stream shows now on Facebook. And it is the academy where we teach classes, both in person and physical classes, like here at the academy, but also online. And we also are a publishing company. And so keeps me quite busy. As my mother would say, it keeps me out of trouble. So anyway, welcome. Today's card draw. I love doing this. I've been doing this kind of card draw for a lot of years. And recently, I would say since probably December or January, I was sharing a quote from the cards that I was drawing from on our Instagram account for Star Nations. And then this month I had the light bulb go on that maybe those people who are in our community here at Star Nations and also the general public, that they might like to see or hear about the background of the card draw. And so I decided to do these live streams. And they're called Native live streams. And so, I'm Native American. I'm enrolled with the Potawatomi Nation. And so when they say a native live stream, I made somebody laugh the other day. So when I do these live streams, it's native, right? I don't know if you can see my T-shirt. The Gathering of the Potawatomi Nation. Every year we do an annual gathering. It's kind of like a huge family reunion where the 9 bands of the Potawatomi Nation comes together. And I've only made a couple of them, and they are so much fun. And the reason why I even bring it up is because of the coming together, right? Today's card draw is the Whirling Rainbow, Unity and Wholeness Achieved. Look at that artwork on here. The Whirling Rainbow. Isn't that gorgeous? Jamie Sams, author of the card deck I'm using, is the Sacred Path cards, right? And I've had these cards for a really long time. Used them quite often when I was teaching drum making. And this particular card and what she writes about the Whirling Rainbow is fascinating information. Jamie Sams is Seneca, and so she always weaves her Seneca traditions and understanding through her writing, right? The Whirling Rainbow is a prophecy that I thought came out from like the Hopi and the Navajo, right? And it's not the first time I've heard the Whirling Rainbow, but I didn't realize that the Seneca also had something about this. And so what makes this special is I do believe that in the time that we're living right now, in the energy field that we're living right now, I do believe that we are in the fifth world, which is talked about from the Hopi, from their prophecy. And in language, in vocabulary that we understand here at Star Nations, that would be the age of Aquarius. That would be the age of, believe it or not, peace. even though what may be going around us out there in the world may not look peaceful, may not feel peaceful, all of that is a part of identifying what we don't want, so that we work toward what we do want. And when we work toward that, we work toward our own healing to bring peace about from the inside out, right? But we also work together. We work together in those coalitions and the activism, really. So I found this card totally fascinating because it talks about the unity. And how often have we heard about going back to source, the unity of the oneness, right? The oneness. This is it. So here's what Jamie Sams has written about it. She says that the Navajo and the Hopi, the swirling or whirling rainbow woman is the bringer of friendly rains that nurtures the three sisters. And the three sisters are the corn, the beans, and the squash, givers of life, right? And so in the Southwest, that's huge because it feeds all the people, right? And we have taken that meaning and incorporated into so many different tribes across Turtle Island. We all have corn, we all have squash, we all have beans of one kind or another. And putting those three sisters together, right? Those people who are gardeners understand this. I have to segue here just for a second. I want to wish somebody happy birthday. Rob Kendall, if you're watching, happy birthday, guy. I hope you have a wonderful birthday today and celebrating you, because you bring a lot to our community here at Star Nations. Rob is one of those people that watches almost all of our shows. He comments on things that we post. He shares so much of our posts, not just to his own page, but to other pages and other groups, and helping us to be able to get the messages out from all of the different radio show, the live stream hosts, the contributing writers, and all of that. So big miigwech to you, Rob. But you know what? It's more about your birthday today. It is about your birthday and wishing you all the best. All right, back to Whirling Rainbow. The Whirling Rainbow actually comes from the four directions, and it swirls inward and outward. Okay, so here's the picture again, so you can get the sense of the movement. Now, this is the pattern that caused quite a stir, because in the more traditional looks of this pattern of the Whirling Rainbow is the swastika. Right. And so, that particular symbol has a lot of connotations to it. And that one is much more about being divisive and separate rather than into the whole. Worldwide, right? Worldwide. And so, Hitler had taken this particular meaning of this design of the Whirling Rainbow and kind of contorted it, confused it really for people, and kind of he stole it basically, right? And turned it into something that it wasn't. So, but today the Whirling Rainbow holds the meaning of oneness and wholeness. And it comes out of a long, many generations that have passed down that story about peace. And so she goes on to say that the Whirling Rainbow is a promise of peace among all nations and all people. The rainbow race brings peace through the understanding that all races are one. The unity of all colors, all creeds working together for the good of the whole is the idea that is embodied in the whirling rainbow. When all paths to wholeness are respected by all cultures, the prophecy of the whirling rainbow is completed. And I think in our own communities, in our own neighborhoods, we see that happening more and more often. And I realize that out there in politics land, out there in corporate media land, it may not look that way. But closer to home, you see it more and more often. And more importantly, you feel it. She says that the prophecy of the whirling rainbow is very specific. It talks about when the time of the white buffalo approaches, the third generation of the white-eyed children will grow their hair and speak of love as the healer of the children of earth. These children will seek new ways of understanding themselves and others. They will seek the elders of the red race and drink of their wisdom. These white-eyed children will be a sign that the ancestors are returning in white bodies, but they are red on the inside. They will learn to walk the Earth Mother in balance again and reform the ideas of the white chiefs or the white leaders. We're there. How many of you guys have Native American guides, teachers in spirit? Have Native Americans in your spiritual team? Many. When I first started teaching drum making and spiritual classes, feng shui and space clearing back in the early 2000s, I was grateful for the people who would come to my classes, and we'd sit and we'd talk about the concepts that I was teaching. But I honestly didn't understand what the fascination was about Native American, my culture's information. Because I really believe that if we go back far enough, everybody comes from an indigenous tribal nation. Everyone is indigenous to some continent. Everyone had a belief system based in the earth, the earth, right? And I have to say, in the last couple of years, I'm really truly understanding, and it really did start with my understanding. Started with shamanism, because shamanism, that just the word intrigued me, because so many people believed, non-native people believed, that was a word that came from Native America here on Turtle Island, and it's not. That word is not found in any of the 568 federally recognized tribal languages. It's a Northern European word, and it comes from the Sami. And so, I had to look at that and say, what is this? And it wasn't until just recently that I realized part of the fascination and wanting to know the information, really taking the information in and really bringing it into a lifestyle, into their lives, the non-native people, about shamanism, has to do with recognizing how it is already in their DNA. It's already there. It came through their ancestors, because that belief system was all across Europe, Northern Europe, Russia. And so when your ancestors came to Turtle Island, that's who she's referring to here as the white eyes, right? Is that you may have been generations removed from that information, but you recognize the vibration of the land here, recognized and remembered the vibration of a Native American belief system. And we're going back generations. We're talking probably around the 14, 15, 1600s. Okay. Those early settlers that came in, those early, with 1492, right? And I have to say, that there's some Native Americans who don't see that as something that was good. And there's some who would say that those non-natives who are using our belief system is another form of appropriation. And it depends. I think that there are many, many people who have very good hearts, and they were searching, looking for that part of themselves that they felt that was there. And how do you relate to that? How do you bring that into your everyday life? And with a good heart, right? Now, there are a few, like anything else, there are a few who misuse it, call it their own when it's not, and that sort of thing. The Whirling Rainbow, this brings all of us together. The unity, the wholeness. And Jamie goes on to say that after the time when the buffalo returned, the generation following the flower children would see the dawning of the fifth world of peace. The beginning of this fifth world, the wobbly pony that on being born would try to use its legs, and she would be wobbly and would be felt by Earth Mother, and changes would occur in the soil and the water. She goes on to say that inside the children of Earth, the wobble would recreate rolling emotions and feelings that would bring the quickening of remembering. And I really do think that that's all about our return to protecting Grandmother Earth. All the activism about the environment, going back probably at least a couple of decades, and then, it picking up momentum and culminating with something that occurred in 2016 in North Dakota, and how that brought the entire world's attention, their eyes, to this tiny, tiny little place that nobody had ever heard of before, Cannonball, North Dakota, Standing Rock Sioux. And the whole world turned and looked. And what it caused was this tsunami of wanting to help, looking at their own backyards and trying to correct things in their own backyards when it comes to oil and fracking and all of that, right? And there were some really important things. And in that community that was created at Standing Rock, the Osheti campground, right? That became, like, I think, the third largest village or settlement or town, if you want to call it that, during that time frame. There were tens of thousands of people there at one time, and they all came with the understanding that it was a peaceful protection. It was peaceful, and it was led with prayer. It brought together many different religions, belief systems from all over the earth. Everybody from every continent came, and it was peaceful. And they took on a militarized police force. They took on something that was pretty big. Now it's still playing out, and and the media was not very helpful, not at all. But this is what occurred: unity and wholeness. A lot of good things came out of it. a lot. She also says that that warriors of the rainbow, they would begin to learn how to walk in balance. The changes in our Earth Mother would create fear in her children, which would later lead to the understanding and unity of one planet, one people. The whirling rainbow will appear in the form of a sundog. Yeah, I want to say, I'm going to look at the copyright. The copyright is 1990 of the cards, 1990. So a lot of things have changed since then. The vibration that we live in is completely different than what it was in 1990. She says the whirling rainbow will appear in the form of a sundog to those who are ready to see. The sundog is a full rainbow circle around the sun that has bright white lights at the 4 directions. Now, how many of you guys have seen that particular picture on Facebook? I know I've shared it a couple of times. And how many people actually look at the sundogs? And what's more important, have you ever seen them at night? I have. I remember we were still living down south in Poinette near Madison. We're coming out of the grocery store, and Paul's dad, that must have been 1996, because Paul's dad had just walked on, and still in grief. And I remember looking up, and around the moon, there was a sundog. And Paul's dad, when the last couple of days that he was alive, he would talk to me. He'd say, "Do you see that? Did you see that?" It was nighttime, right? "Did you see that? Did you see that rainbow? It's a beautiful rainbow." And so when we saw that rainbow, that sundog at night, I knew that this was a sign. It wasn't just something random. It was the first time I'd ever seen it at night. And that was 1996. Now, it was right around those times that the convergences started to happen, the harmonic convergences, right? I think in 96, 98, there was 2 of them, right? Harmonic convergences. And so it was all in that preparation to lead us where we are today, in a vibrational field where many more people are walking their earth walk, their medicine walk, consciously awake, knowing that they are spirit in a physical body, having this physical experience. Many more people are awake, many more than there was in 1990. All right, so she says many sundogs will be seen around the time of the white buffalo, which will be the sky language sign that the secret and sacred teachings are about to be shared with all races. Enough of the children of Earth will be awakened to carry the responsibility of the teachings, and the healing process will begin in full swing. Now, the very first white buffalo calf that was born here in Wisconsin. And honestly, I don't remember the year. It was in the late 80s, I believe, early 90s. And that was Miracle. That was her name. And since then, there has been many white buffalo calves born all across the United States. And 2 of them actually were born again here in Wisconsin. That would have been like in maybe 2014 or 2015. And unfortunately, those 2 didn't make it. They walked on. They died. But they brought the energy, that energy field, that vibrant energy field here to northern Wisconsin. So there's been a lot of changes, and we're seeing it. We've witnessed it. She says that the whirling rainbows permeate dreams. Many will remember their purpose for being on their earth walk, and will learn to develop their gifts to assist the whole of humanity. And if I haven't heard it once, I've heard it many, many times about, I want to know what I'm supposed to be, why am I here? What's my purpose? And a lot of our classes here at Star Nations, when we first started, was around that concept, is remembering who you really are and why you're here, your sole purpose, to uncover that. And a lot of the healing meditations that we did was around that. And so, helping, doing our part to help people remember. And that was all my work that I did with Awakening Illuminated Heart, was that remembering. Everyone will have to trust their personal vision and follow their hearts in order to assist the whole. Yep, absolutely. And that's what started my work with Illuminated Heart. And if you take a look now at who's writing for us and how they're writing, we have Eddie Mullins, who is writing from a more of a shamanic point of view than when I first met him. And much of his writing is about the heart and listening to the silent language of the heart, living your life's purpose through your heart, right? Carl and Orchin Franklin, coming through the Egyptian mystery school eyes, and the fifth dimension that Carl does. It's all about the heart. So as we shift and we change, our allies also shift and change, and being able to tap into that kind of support and system. And so now we're looking at someone like Polly Jo LeBay and chakra sessions and soul connections. What is she doing? She's helping us to understand our energy centers, and that we have more than 7, that we have more than 12, and about the healing of those, so that they're balanced, that we can heal those aspects of ourselves, but more importantly, remove blocks and barriers from remembering who we really are, and to be able to use our gifts here so that we can be of service, right? Yep. Now, Jamie Sams I love the way she writes. She says that when the Whirling Rainbow woman of the Navajo and Hopi brings the cleansing and regenerative rains to the Earth Mother, her children are also cleansed and healed. When the rainbow of peace of the Seneca encircles each person's sacred space, all will walk in truth, respecting the sacred space of others, and the harmony of living on Earth will be restored. And also, there's the Haudenosaunee, which is the Iroquois Nations Confederacy, right? They say that there's 12 cycles or 12 truths. I'm going to read those 12 truths to you and see how that feels to you. Discern for yourself what that means for you, okay? So the 12 truths: learning the truth, honoring the truth, accepting the truth, observing the truth, hearing the truth, presenting the truth, loving the truth, serving the truth, living the truth, working the truth, walking the truth, and being grateful for the truth. When we invite, she says, when we invite total truth into our sacred space, we shatter the bonds of separateness and illusion that create discord. It's about the truth of the heart, truth. And it kind of reminded me of a movie, right? A Few Good Men. And at the very end, the general, who's played by Jack Nicholson, because Tom Cruise's character wants him to I want the truth. I need the truth, And Nicholson's character says, you can't handle the truth. A lot of people can't, but a lot of people can. And when we give ourselves the opportunity to even do just a few of these 12 truths, we feel so much better. because we're standing in our own truth and feeling the vibration of a divine truth, right? So here we go. Here's the application of the card. This is how, what I do is I look to see how does it unfold in my day, right? So she's saying that if the rainbow, the whirling rainbow has appeared, you are being asked to remove any type of discord from your life in order to grow. Don't feed the negativity. Look at any lessons being presented at this time, learn from them, then focus your attention on creating new beauty and abundance in your life. Do not allow yourself to be caught up in the quicksand of petty tyrants. A true worthy opponent will present lessons to make you grow beyond any high drama and into any sense of unity with the self. Encircle any discord with the whirling rainbow of peace and consider the unity you have with the great mystery, the Creator, when you keep your eye on the goal and your feet on the sacred path of beauty. Remember that any challenges to unity are equal to your ability to overcome them. I'm going to say that again because I think that's pretty important. Remember that any challenges to unity are equal to your ability to overcome them. So we have the ability. We know how. It's the time to actually do it, to apply it. Yep, that's it. This is a good one, really. Lots going on, right? Because I'm going to have a conversation this afternoon, and it's all about speaking a truth in a kind way, I think. Standing in your truth in a kind way. And it goes way beyond who's right, who's wrong. You know, it goes way beyond control, being in a controlled, issued kind of thing. And so I agree with Jamie that if we can encircle it with the whirling rainbow of peace, that, and if we bring the truth into the center of that, yeah, no discord. We can have unity. Here is the poem. Whirling Rainbow. Whirling rainbow, giver of life, through your cleansing rains, uniting all colors, the children of earth will walk in peace again. Whirling rainbow prophecy, your warriors now arise, sisters and brothers in harmony, your light in your eyes. Whirling rainbow, touch our hearts, we will surely fly, never lonely or apart, our whirling colors in the sky. I like that. It feels good. It feels good to me. How does it feel to you? Take what resonates, what feels good to you. And the things that don't, that we shared this morning, let that go. That's not for you. It's okay. Just hang on to the ones that do feel good to you, and see how it unfolds for you today. Be aware of it, watch it, witness it. If you have the opportunity to be an active participant in it, embrace it the best you can, with an open heart and open mind. Yeah. And be the rainbow warrior. I plan on doing that today. How about you? All right. Hey, listen, have a great rest of the day this Thursday. And we'll see you tomorrow morning for the card draw. And we'll see what Spirit has to say tomorrow. Okay? All right. Bama Mina, that's Potawatomi for until we see each other again.